to certain standards. So we're going to begin promptly at 5:30. I wish to debate a little bit from the agenda this year and take a prayer before I do welcome to the remark. So I'm going to ask Brother Isaac to go and pray for us.
I invite you to please stand with me. Let us pray. Our God and Father, we have come from various activities today. We acknowledge that we may be a little bit tired. So we first ask that you would renew our energies. We want to thank you for the blessings of work. Today we want to thank you for the occasion which has brought all of us together. For the energy and creativity of youth, the solidity and experience of maturity. Thank you for the dreams and aspirations which you put in the hearts of men and women, especially so Lord, dreams that will do good. Thank you for Maurice, for Tuning Senior and all the others who are associated with this enterprise. Into your hands we would like to commit this enterprise. Lord, you know what good it can do, not only to this society here, Associates and Caribidreams, but you who made a great universe know the potential of this enterprise. And the fact that at this commencement, Lord, we pause to acknowledge you means that we expect you, our Father, to guide so that it would realize its full potential. We ask that your blessings will continue to be on the mind of Maurice and all the others who will be here. That this building will be protected through the ministry of your angels. And Lord, help us to know that indeed you as our Father have our best interests at heart. Give us the faith to believe that when we link ourselves with you, there is no limit to our achievement. So thanks for all that has been done already. And let your blessings continue to flow on that which will be done tomorrow and beyond. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Isaac. I just want on behalf of Maurice and the team to welcome all of us to this occasion. I particularly want to welcome the members of the Adventist community, in particular our church. So I know those faces well. But I wouldn't mind if the other faces that I don't know. I mean, I know Junior from Pele Junior. If the other members who sit with us, and for themselves, so we can be familiar with who you are. Just a shout out to do that. We started before. Very good. Everybody know exactly who we are, who we represent.
Junior Nestle, teachers representative. Ashley Peter, the agency.
Outside?
Neil is still over in the center.
Thank you. Outside? Very snowy.
Thank you very much. Nurse.
Yes, Maurice, Mariella. I'm sorry.
Oh, let's go to Neil 74.
Okay. Let's say please guys in back. Roman and Salman. What's the big last?
Cameras, Oliver.
Okay. Okay.
Children Charles and his part-time children.
Okay. Yes, Maurice Weber.
Film wise, that's just obviously back.
CJ Rogers, developer.
Okay.
Maribel, Maurice's friend.
Okay.
Maribel and Maurice's friend. Maria Gordon, Maurice's friend.
No, just Ricky Ball.
Okay. I think that's one of the things in Maurice, right? Yeah. That's Maurice father, you know.
Just with Bob, John's friend.
Okay. Brother Bob. Yes, brother. Okay, I was making a point earlier that what we're about to see today is a peep into the mind and the dreams of Maurice John. You know, as his father, the wrestler and tussle up when, you know, when I don't people in the house and they have ideas. And so this is the first occasion to launch a product like this. And I am extremely happy to be part of this launch. Maurice has developed, after K-Bill, a number of platforms using IT solutions. Yes, made it quite clear to me that most of what you learn on his own and from St. Grammar School. Not so much of K-Bill, you know. So a plug for not sending you to K-Bill, give you the money that we invest, you know. And so, right now, we will be piloting public trade platforms, one for education. I really have some interest in this one. Because I work in the Ministry of Education and Central Planning for a number of years, where the World Bank provided funds for a lot of IT application and teaching. I left here in 2012, and I do not believe up to this day we have, you know, put things in place, bearing in mind the amount of money being given in grants and so on in this area. And so I'm really hoping that we can, these young people, you know, Rogers, Maurice is one of the brightest guys, you know, they're capable, technical break, he is doing his master's in IT. I really feel that the young people sitting in the this could challenge the status quo and use IT to do wonders, make our work easier and more productive. And so I welcome you in that frame, that we come with an open mind and listen to what he has to present. He is struggling along with me to apply IT to what I've been doing for years now in real estate, operational management, and I believe we are getting there. And he has, you know, developed something for education. He has his Caribidreams network that he wants to not only deal with citizens but the Caribbean. And so I want to again welcome you on behalf of Maurice as he drive this platform or these platforms to apply them to solve some of our problems and our challenges in cities and the Caribbean. That's all the few questions of that's very short. Our best investing the chairman. Yes, okay, and so we're going to move right into the program now, and we're going to ask Maurice to come now and give us a background and his IT solution, his business, mobile application, as we take a great leap forward. Thank you, Maurice John.
Good afternoon, everyone. Right, good afternoon again. Well, we're here to discuss a great leap forward. But the people who know me best know me that I'm extremely passionate about IT, and I also have a great love for Mr. Steve Jobs. So before we start, I want to play a 7-minute video of some of the concepts that he has said in the past that I try to incorporate into my life. So, next, press this video play.
To me, marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No companies. And so we have to be really clear on what we want to know about us. Now, Apple, fortunately, is one of the half a dozen best brands in the whole world. Right up there with Nike, Disney, Coke, Sony. It is one of the greats of the greats. Not just in this country, but all around the globe. But being a great brand needs investment and caring if it's going to retain its relevance and vitality. And the Apple brand has clearly suffered from neglect in this area in the last week. And we need to bring it back. The way to do that is not to talk about speeds and fees. It's not to talk about mix and makers. It's not to talk about why we're better than women. The dairy industry tried for 20 years to convince you that milk was good for you. It's a lie, but they tried anyway. And the sales would go like this. And then they tried got milk, and the sales would go like this. Got milk was being taught up front, I thought the focus on the absence of product. But the best example of all, and one of the greatest jobs of marketing the universe has ever seen is Nike. Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet when you think of Nike, you feel something different than the shoe company. And their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the product. They don't ever talk about the air soles and all the other Reebok air soles. What's Nike doing right now? They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about. Apple's been the first in advertising. You never know it. You never know it. So, when I got here, Apple aspired agency was in the competition with 23 agencies that 4 years from now would pick one. And we blew that up, and we hired China. The agency that I was fortunate to work with years ago. We created some award-winning work, including the commercial what was the best ad we made in before by advertising professionals. And we started working about 8 weeks ago. And what was the question we asked was, our customers want to know who is Apple and what is it that we stand for? Where do we fit in this world? And what we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their job, although we do that well. We do that better than almost anybody in some cases. But Apple's about something more than that. Apple at the core, its core value, is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for them. That's what we do. And we have the opportunity to work with people like that. We have an opportunity to work with people like you, with software developers, with customers who have done in some big and some small ways. And we believe that in this world, people can change it for the better. And that those people with crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that actually do. And so what we're going to do in our first brand marketing campaign in several years is to get back to that core value. A lot of things have changed. The market's a totally different place than it was a decade ago. And Apple's totally different. Apple's placement is totally different. And believe me, the product and the distribution strategy and manufacturing are totally different. You understand that. the values and core values. Those things shouldn't change. The things that Apple believes in at its core are the same things that Apple believes in further. And so, we need one to find a way to communicate this. And what we have is something that I'm very moved by. It honors those people who have changed it. Some of them are living, some of them aren't. But the ones that aren't, as you'll see, you know that they ever need it if you live in them. The thing of the campaign is think different. It's the people, honoring the people who think different and who need the truth forward. And it is what we are about. It touches the soul of this country. So I'm going to head forward, and I hope that you feel the same way that I do. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and square holes, the ones who see things. They're not following the rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. Not the only thing you can do is ignore them. Change push the human race forward. And while trying to see them as the crazy ones, we see Jesus. It's the people who are crazy who think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So good afternoon again. I'm going to spend a bit of my time on the computer. So I have to shift between speaking. So if everybody can hear me, everybody could multitask somewhat, looking at the screen, watching me, because I have some demos that I want to show. Now from the video, I want to pull out a few things. Let me shift over. In St. Vincent, there are some pretty fine concepts that people hold on to that I want to make some of us quite like in a wrong hole. So when I came back from university, as much as I don't know, I felt like if I spent 3 years of my time in university not doing anything, because for me, I spend a lot of time reading. I dedicate a large part of my day to reading. So there's nothing that happens in the world of knowledge that I don't consume. At that point in school, I had to install an app on my computer called self-control. It blocks me from reading and actually going to study. But then there was a contrast I did wrong. What I was studying in school was far behind what was happening in the world. So I would go to class, and then when I went to a course, and I would feel like this course can't make me compete in the world. So sometimes I don't even go. But then what I gathered from school were great friendships. So spending $100,000 to make a few friends is quite an expensive friendship. So, M.John I.T Solutions. In 2017, I'm going to be in God's spare life, pushing the boundaries of what is expected. When I came back, I was very enthusiastic. A lot of young people also come up from university thinking they will change the world. And then you step into a business person office and tell them, you need a website, and they watch you, and then they dismiss you. But then right after that, they pull up a website to use from somebody else in the States that they can't understand why their business needs it. So that reality struck me, and I somewhat regressed into myself. And I thought, for me to change the business mindset, I need to create products. And then when people see the result of actual products and the result of IT, then possibly somebody might say, okay, IT is of utmost importance. Next slide, please. I want to talk about this mobile application. I'm an Adventist, and one day I got the code for a projector application that we were using in the church. And it projects this stuff on the screen, but it uses XML. I asked Mr. Hanif Sunderland actually to send me the XML. I looked at it and I decided this could be put into a whole application. I converted the XML to Java to JSON, and then I created this. But this is not what I started out as. They started out as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You might not know what that is, but that is what I learned at school. I moved from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript onto Angular, which is Ionic. You might not know that. Also, then last year I spent 6 months in Canada. I worked on a dredger. So I will work from 7 to 4, and then I pick up a second job at a batch plant. So I will work from 7 to 4, then from 4 to 9, 10 o'clock in the night. And then after that, I will start my other job, which was learning native Android and iOS. So that was my schedule, 7 to 4, 4 to something, 9, 10, and then from 11 to 2 o'clock, I learned native coding. And every time I learn something new, I try it out in him now. This him now has been downloaded over 50,000 times. Every single week, when this Sabbath comes close, people message me and tell me how much this has changed their lives. There are churches in Africa who don't have pianos and anything. And they say because of this, they have music in their church. So something so simple can be so powerful. That is a concept that we might miss how these small things can change much. Understand? What do we offer? We offer web development, mobile application development, and because I spent some time learning Ionic, I learned Angular, which allowed me to now make programs for Windows and Mac computers. I'm also offering a learning management system for schools, business management solutions, social media integration, and management. In 2017, when you see this logo on a mobile application, website, know that it's from us and it's well made. And if it's not well made, you know where the office is to come and tell us that I need a product that is not well made. Alright? The model of the Intel inside. Intel created that slogan to let people know when there's a quality computer out there. Next slide. Alright, so the best way to predict your future is to create it. Now, we're all on, the IT world is always on a loop. It's always moving forward, it's always looping. So, we had web development. Web development was huge. Everybody on web development. Then you had app development. App development was huge, and everybody jumped on app development. But now there's a new wave arising. There's a wave of artificial intelligence. Computers that can think, and you can find ways of integrating them into your lives to make your life better. Now we have specific problems that we need computers that go beyond just being a tool that you input and output stuff. We have classes in St. Vincent that are 40 students, and a teacher cannot take time to get to know all 40 students. So how do you develop something that when you walk into a class, you have a platform that over a period of time gets to know you, develop a personality profile. So when you as a teacher decide how do I best reach this student I have someone who actually walking the street, figuring out who they are and how best to approach them. Next slide, please. So, this is why I spent a bit of my nights developing a platform called Linda. Linda is a cognitive platform. It's a machine that thinks somewhat. So you can ask a question and it understands you and it gives you a response. So when I say to Johannes, can you pick up a ball 3,000 for me? Johannes will going to think, okay, there are two things going on here. There's an entity and there's an intent. My intent is to pick up the ball and my entity is the ball itself. Now for a computer could see these if you give it to it straight up. So if you say, search a database, then X equal Y. You can do that. But if you say to it, computer, go and search a database. In natural language, it will not be able to do it. But now with the rise of artificial intelligence, we can do that. We can literally say, do something, it does it. I'm going to show you here this afternoon. I'm going to show you the parents this, what I've been talking about. Okay, so this is Linda. So I'm going to start off, hopefully one neighbors will feel me. I'm going to say hello.
Hello, Maurice. How can I help you today?
Okay.
My name is Linda. I'm a virtual assistant created by Maurice John.
Ok, Maurice, welcome back in the franchise publique.
Ok, Maurice, welcome back in Spanish publique.
Let's get more complicated. So let's find out what the weather is in Barbados. For all of you people who study in Barbados, you know they normally call girls sweet girl. So let's say, sweet girl, can you tell me the weather in Bridgetown?
I asked the weatherman, and he just told me it's overcast clouds in Bridgetown.
Alright, so let's come home.
I asked the weatherman, and he just told me it's like rain in Kingstown.
Alright, let's deep dive down into Caribidreams. If it is not correct, I am consuming a weather API, and the weather API, that is their fault. Alright.
Maurice, I found one property is matching your description. Maurice, I found one properties matching your description. I am glad I made you proud, Maurice. This is only the beginning.
So, Linda is built on IBM Watson. I don't know if you guys ever saw when Watson competed on Jeopardy and beat the best Jeopardy players of the world. Now, last year, when I started Caribidreams, I said, I want to build a platform that while I sleep, it works. So, I started on it, I built a website, and this is the commentary end of what I want. So what does Linda do? Or what does IBM allow Linda to do? It can process natural language. Computer vision, so you can see a photo of this and say, okay, this is a photo of a car, or you can look at a video and say, this is what is happening in a video. It can sense emotion, so if you tell it something harsh, you can figure out that you're being harsh. You can come with a personality analysis of you. So if it consumes your Facebook page, it will tell you exactly who you are. Then data processing to convert document from PDF, HTML, and so on. Of course, they can speak and they can have multiple different languages. Alright, so this is the Linda platform. What am I going to be doing with Linda? I'm going to be integrating it into education. I'm going to be integrating it into real estate, into travel, hopefully insurance, and as I develop into a serial entrepreneur, any industry that I enter, I will train Linda to become an expert and enter into that industry. So, the next thing I would want to talk about, next slide. Oh, that was in the book. Sorry, this slide. Next slide. Alright, let's talk about root learning platform. So, some of you were given a letter that talked about the root learning platform. What is root learning platform? How did it get started? For the Adventists among us, it started as Bible Boom. The church wanted the church wants a live platform for their Bible competition. So through the year, they would read the Bible, and at a specific time of the year, they would come together and compete. Who could answer those Bible questions, who can answer it faster, stuff like that. Yes, who could answer it faster, who could answer it and be correct. And this has to be live, it has to be interactive, it has to be fun. So I thought to myself, how can I introduce that into the classroom? Because we tried it at church, people loved it. We go group into groups and they compete, they read the Bible and they compete and they loved it. Some folks in Guyana tried it, they loved it. We competed. St. Vincent, a young person from St. Vincent competed with someone from St. Lucia. They love it. It's a dimension to learning that should be embraced. We go to school, we read books, but really and truly, that is not how the world actually does it anymore. Out in America and all of these bigger countries, they have interactive sessions. You have an iPad and you're interacting with an iPad and every teacher are having this communication through IT. So how do we then look at that same interaction and try to bring it into classrooms. Almost every child, their parents might not have a smartphone, but book it show that they might have a smartphone. Next slide. Yes, so it's an interactive, this is actually a partnership between myself and Azania Vandal. I am hoping that the Skype conversation how to introduce ourselves works, but how the internet is going, I don't know. I am the IT person. She is the one that did the studies up to master's level in the brain. Now, there are two goals that I want to achieve here. For class to become interactive, and the second goal is for teachers to actually have a tool that they can get to know their students. And one of the biggest issues that I have was when I was at UWI, through the semester is 40%, exam is 60%. When we have coursework, the girls will come, best friends. They will talk to us nice, they will get us to help them with the assignment, and when exam comes, they can find no girl inside. And girls are better at exams than us. So when the final analysis tables, there's 60% outweigh or 40%. So there's a roadblock in today's society, and the roadblock is called exams, where we have an examination that determines our very future. How could we, in using artificial intelligence, break down that barrier? To take a question as simple as it is and break it down and reconstruct it based on how someone thinks, how somebody reasons. It is not making the question simpler, but just trying to present it in a way that triggers a reaction from that specific person. I'm not going to say that I'm going to solve this problem, but I'm not going to sit down knowing that there are tools out there that I could use, that I could contribute to that discussion. So I am hoping that Azania, I just call her, she is getting married, and she's actually in St. Lucia right now. And I would really like for her to say a few words about herself, because this is actually a relationship between both of us that we will be working on in the future. So let me try to see if that will work. Hello, Azania. Azania? Let's start it doesn't work. Nothing's up. This is not working. Let me call again and see one last try. It doesn't seem like it's going along to get that done. But Azania, while we were at UWI, she, for her research project, she did a fascinating piece of research. How could you use a list of questions to come up with somebody's personality? And she went on a master's level, to do dual functioning, or how we do dual process of our brain. So every time I meet her, I would say, you have this really cool idea for a piece of research. And she would say, yes, let's do it. But we have been going back and forth for years. But now we finally got to the point where we're actually going to do, because we have a mobile application that hopefully we now can put in the hands of students so that they can use it, and over time we develop models to see how these students are thinking, see from the responses from different question structures. We work on that to be able to come up with a model that could solve our problems. I'm guessing that was something. Let's see. Hello?
Hello?
There we go.
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay, good night.
Good night. The floor is yours.
So, can you repeat the question, please?
I said the floor is yours. Introduce yourself.
Oh, the floor is mine. Okay. Good night, everyone. I'm going to be very brief tonight. My name is Azonia Van Loo. I currently work in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. I am here to support Maurice tonight. We've been talking for a very long while about this project that he wants to work on with the learning tool that he wants to implement here in St. Vincent and then across the Caribbean. Basically, how Maurice and I are planning to partner, or how I am trying to help him, is that for my undergrad, I studied computer science and psychology at the University of the West Indies, Cape Hill campus, and my dissertation, or rather my undergrad research, was in the area of adaptive testing. So basically what I did was I implemented a tool that was an adaptive personality testing tool. So basically what it does is that as you take the test, the questions become more and more tailored according to what your responses are. So basically what Maurice has asked me to help him with is basically helping him to conceptualize how to tailor questions and how to formulate the bank of questions and how we would tailor the questions, what criteria we would use to tailor questions and get an overall adaptive question for each student. So that's basically the role I've been asked to play in this whole project.
Alright, Azonia, I'm guessing that you're going to be off now. Thank you so much for... Hello?
Yes, I'm off now, and thank you very much for inviting me. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, and I'm sorry I couldn't give a more in-depth view of my research, but I do wish you all the best, and I hope that in the future I'll be able to explain things more in-depth to the person there in front of us, and I wish you all the best with your projects.
Alright, thank you. Bye. Bye-bye. Alright, so I think we have pretty cool young people in Vincent, and we want to do cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. I think I'm fed up watching YouTube videos of 12-year-olds doing cool stuff. Now, root learning platform. Now, how does it work? This is the demo question mark that I'm going to push this 500 root nodes. For the techie people among us, root nodes kind of play on words. It's basically rooms that you join. So right now, for this demo, there are 2 persons in the room. They're waiting for the question to be loaded. So it's test 1 and test 2. So there's a point where you say this prayer in your heart that this works, because the internet sucks. Can we get somebody to write on their phone, on my phone? Somebody volunteering? Huh? No, pen. Use my phone. So the pastor call, when we tested it live with me, I'm going to send a question, very easy questions, about 3 questions, and of course I know the answer, so I might not decide to cheat or not. So, ready? You can hold? Yeah. Alright. Well, that's anti-climatic. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, here we go. So which number is an even number? That's pretty easy. 4. So Pastor got it right. It was on 20 because I was testing it. So he got 13 points because he answered first. And I got 12 points because I answered second. Let's try another question. What's 4 times 5? That's 20. I got it correct. And he beat me again. Alright. What's the capital of Kingstown? Let me try to get it quickly. Of Simmons, sorry. I beat it this time. Alright, so very simple concept. But there are some very powerful things that are coming out here. You're from Barker Convent. Let's see, STEM guys from St. Martin. Now, what I want to do is, I am certain that, when I go to Barker Convent and I see how clean their school is, there needs to be some kind of tutorial on how to keep students clean, like the bathroom. You don't have to use the bathroom, but that's another thing. What I want to do is to find a way for teachers to work together. Students are always complaining that primary school has either teachers or they always send good teachers up there or elsewhere. Now, if we could have a centralized database where every teacher is contributing to a pool of questions, and if you could create a central classroom that you could join, that we all could participate in tests. So let's say grammar school, high school, Emmanuel, we're all learning about algebra, a concept in algebra at the same time. This platform will allow all of those classes to join a singular node and test how far and how good that those students are. And you get live, immediate scoring, and also you get details of what the students are choosing. So when you go in there, you get to see exactly what their answers are. So you could see where they fell down. So a principal would sit in his office, his office, and request that a test be ran across the school. Let us see what students feel about XYZ. The entire school goes on their phone, you draw a poll, immediate response. The principal has immediate data to make an action. If at a school you keep getting bad results for mathematics, every week a principal could say, let us test how strong our students are at this particular time. And it could be more than one principal communicating and saying, okay, your school is doing well, my school is doing well, let us see how our students are doing. Let us find some way to interact. And you could have one classroom lighting up on the windward side of the island and a classroom lighting up on the leeward side of the island because they are finding a way to find synergy. Now, for me, I think that is awesome. I don't know what you guys think. What do you guys think? For the teachers and all this. What do you guys think?
Awesome.
So sounds okay? You get a chance to speak while we're talking for a while. Let me just put up my kid somewhere else and say, what do you think?
I think it's interesting.
It is interesting. Alright. I think it's awesome. So, this is root learning. This is what you see to the front. What me and M.John I.T working on the back end is to present students with questions. trying to find a model where we can say, okay, Johannes is in class, he understands some part of the program, but he doesn't understand this part. But he doesn't want to say he doesn't understand. If you run a test, you can literally see if he doesn't understand. And with adaptive learning, you can actually adjust to that student. If you're a teacher of 40 students, you can't help every child to come forward. You try to work as best as possible to satisfy everybody. But with this, you can see somebody struggling and know that there's something there that is walking with that child as they come forward. So you don't sacrifice the entire class for a student. But at least you have an extension of yourself to know that that child has help despite of the shortcomings of your classroom. So for me, that is the platform that I want to bring to classrooms. How are we doing it? This is a blank canvas. I would love to work with schools until September and figure out feedback. Give it to students, let them play with it, let them toy with it. Let them tell me what they don't like, what they need to put inside of it. Teachers could say, I like this, I don't like this, make a change. So we have a giant test to solidify it. And there are schools here, like Adventist school, Catholic school, who have schools linked across the Caribbean. You could now say, all of my schools are on this platform. So what I want to know, how competent my math students are. From one central place, I could send out a test all across the Caribbean to find out the competency of my classroom. And that for me is where IT bridges the gap completely between being just one isolated classroom in St. Vincent to a platform that is completely, that stretches beyond what you might think is normal. Alright, so that is good learning. Next, got this slide, I think we're going to pass over to Daddy. And Daddy's going to bring down your time. Everybody has plans. It's going to be a little while longer. Come back to this slide. Press play. And you'll be briefing us on the Genius Center.
Thank you very much, Maurice. I remember Dr. She worked in music education. Said, why do you name the son after you? You know? But I guess now I'm seeing why. Okay, we created a little room across by our office there. We were occupying this dock up here and we really need an extra space. We said, tell Mr. Gumpen, you give us a little piece of that room. And he said, boy, I'm not cutting that, you have to take the whole thing. And so we created within it a little classroom like to teach other things. We call it Genius Center. I will say Vision Center, you know, but that is this platform, Genius Center. And so what we're hoping to do, primarily to teach some professional courses. And the small classes, there's a projector in it, 12 laptops, and so we want to take teaching using IT. And we have some classes we have, you know, right now. I am a certified AutoCAD teacher. I have started at technical drawing up to CX in my last board was with Summit School. Took some guys from Form and Function in 2 years they what I want for this subject. So I feel like we offer that. And so within AutoCAD there are some new dimensions coming in, like 3D. And so if you're a professional and you know AutoCAD, but you want to take a little step forward, we can organize to have sessions with 3D. Maurice wants to also teach app development. He said a while ago that he tried to look on YouTube and see 6-year-old in America and in India doing other things that we adults can do. And so I am hoping too that we can pitch it to our 8-year-old and 9-year-old. Bring a small group of them in. Teach them coding. And let's see what genius will emerge in the next few years. You see this on the gradients. And so this is the vision that we have for that small room. We have some small courses, the lawyers, you know, who want to do something in customer relations. And so if you're a professional and you have a particular area that you think that a small group of persons can benefit from your resources, from your skill, the Vision Center, the Genius Center is available to you, right? That is the pitch. We don't know where this will lead, but the objective is to teach, using my background as a teacher, Maurice Mommy is a teacher, how we could marry those skills and do some transformation in how we teach. I mean, you know, this country has given every child a computer in secondary school. We wisely evaluate how much we have to make use of that. And so this might be a momentum to how we can utilize what is happening over here in our own schools. And so I'm glad to see the principal here for our work, and you are the teacher. And I think he's a teacher from Emmanuel. Who is the teacher? That's already. So I really, not fully certain where this vision will go, where the Genius Center will go, but that is what we're hoping to do. Create an atmosphere where we can develop some little geniuses in this, and we have it. This world is a village now. All the missions are available to us. We can do it. We can make a difference. And I have faith. When I look at Paris, I have to have faith in other people in this and where it is. They can move mountains. But I guess with the older ones, I wouldn't tell you the thoughts we have to, you know. But we have to be convinced that they have what it takes to take this country at another level if we allow them to do so. And so that is the Genius Center. You know, we hope that we can make that difference with it. I have another short presentation. You have that? Okay. I said before that I do valuation appraisal for properties. We do this now for a good while. And I am partnering with Maurice Jr. to use IT as a platform to propel valuation appraisal and cities anyway. Bracket, but I happen to be one of two persons who are chartered surveyor by RSCS, that's the international body based in London. And I feel we can make a difference. If we, those of us who go to the doors of the Scotia, you go to Scotia, sit on the doors of the punch in something and goes up on the internet and the appraiser gets it. No paperwork. I'm hoping to model that for our institution, or for Teachers Credit Union, or for Property Bank and a few others. I'm saying we can use IT knowledge that we have to do a lot of things. I have been a citizen for a number of years, and you go into departments and all those data files and this disappear and whatever. You know, there's been a project for government in articulation of the government. But I think there is great potential for us to transfer the money into business and citizens at the very least. So I am happy to be collaborating with Commissioner Sina, but I have to learn, honestly, is how and when to be quick. You know, that has been my challenge. You know, you can't forget that I am that. You know, but that is my challenge. Say, well, you have to believe in me, you know, and I hope we can work together. I think I want to ask more people to do, this is the final presentation. It's on his dream again. He wants to get into real estate.
Yes, next slide please. I am going as quick as possible. Alright, Caribidreams. At university, we had a group of friends, wide cross-section, friends from Jamaica, from St. Lucia, from Dominica, And we all, on a casual evening, came together in a conversation. We need to find some way of actually extending our friendship beyond just friends at uni. And I was the IT person in the midst. There are people who did management, who did accounting, or my cross section of things. And I said to them, when I leave school, I'm going to build something, and then I'm going to come to you guys, and I'm hoping that you guys come on board. And that was the start of Caribidreams. Caribidreams have been on the market for a year now, but it didn't start this year. It started in university, and when I came out of university, I built a brand. I worked with a really awesome designer, M.John I.T, and we created a brand that is pretty. I like Apple. Apple makes pretty stuff because that appeal. When you give someone a business card, they must feel something. When you go to a website, they must have an emotional reaction to it. So, Caribidreams is a well put together package. Next slide, please. Let's look back at 2016. 2016 was our beta year, focused on the technology. So in 2016, I built a cognitive platform that I'll be using to deal with future. One of the things that kept me up at night, like literally cold sweating at night, I released this website and my bounce rate was 70%. 2 in every 3 persons will come to the site and leave the first page. They won't go any further. They just come, look at one page and leave. And I'm like, this thing looks so good, why nobody staying? Then I modified it, I tweaked it, I do compression on the photos, make sure the loads a bit faster. And I'm pleased to announce that from the start of the day, we'll have about 100 people visiting the site. Now we're up to 4,000 people visiting the site. And these 4,000 people are looking at 20,000 page views. So that with that model, with that solid foundation which centers around the website, when I spend $1 on advertising, and I advertise one property, that property advertises 4 more. By next year, I am hoping to double 4 times that. So if 4,000 people come to the site, they must look at 10, 20 properties. And there's a way that I'm going to do it. It's in a mobile application that I have built, but that growth for me was really good. And the best thing about it, my bounce rate is now at 3%. Only 3% of the persons who come to my website leave without looking at least 5 properties. Now that is great. People don't understand what it means to have a good website. If you don't have a good website, you don't have a good business. Because when people want to find out about you, the first thing is Google you. So my focus was for this year is to create a good website. And for 2017, next slide please. I'm going to look for 2017. Customer service, customer service, customer service in a capital letters. Now, why did I want to build Linda? One of the reasons I wanted to build Linda is so that when I am sleeping and somebody messages me, there's somebody there to take that message. I don't want there to be any delay between somebody asking for something and getting it. There must be no delay. So in 2017, I'm going to ensure that as we roll out Linda, immediate responsive. Immediate. Then we're going to be doing an expansion in marketing. I'm going to be creating, I see Specs here and his colleague. I'm actually going to create a specific partnership with a few key marketing people. So Specs is one of them, Specs Era Photography, and there are a few others, Ruff, who is doing the live stream. It's going to be a partnership among a few key marketing posts to create a marketing engine that will not only satisfy citizens but also push out into the Caribbean. Because you cannot do real estate. I see real estate agents in citizens on Instagram posting about the food that they eat. That is not real estate. When you say there's someone gives your community to market it. It's not about the food that you eat on a weekly basis. It's not about having fun. It's about marketing. So I'm going to create a specific entity about marketing. And you have the brand ambassador program. That program is a local and international program where ambassadors will come on board to market the brand. In January, we're going to kick it off in High Stream. I'll be in the States for most of January, recruiting brand ambassadors in the States. We're going to have a brand ambassador in Europe, and that will trickle down. There will be great conversations of local people that can stand out and market property. Then we're going to be expanding. The mobile application that I created, and I'll show you in a while, I created for St. Vincent, but before I was finished creating it, my friend in Jamaica reached out to me and said, I want to bring Caribidreams to Jamaica. So now we have 2 lawyers on board in Jamaica, and they are recruiting existing agents. Now, when a business expands, normally it has resources to expand with an office, stuff like that. But when a business has a strong IT platform, like what I do, is I could offer agents a space on my platform. I don't necessarily have to be in Jamaica to do business in Jamaica. I've visited Caribbean, and a lot of people don't have websites. They don't have the capacity to have a website and to maintain it. So if I ensure that the platform is solid, I will be able to extend that platform to other regions. The goal for 2017 is to be in 5 markets: Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad, and St. Vincent. I'm hoping I could get that goal done for 2017. Next slide. Alright. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championship. M.John I.T. Now, outside of the IT, outside of Linda, there are some key persons that work in the office that make this thing tick. There is Misha Kupchan, start off on the lawyer. Misha Kupchan is a lawyer. There is the second lawyer on the team is John. Then we have Maurice John Sr. He doesn't want to brag about his MRICS, but there are only 2 incidents that Caribidreams has one. So, 2017. And then there's many IT guys. As long as there's a fiber optic cable that connects to your house, I could find you. And I could market to you. As long as there's an internet connection to your house, I could market to you. And as long as I keep reading about these things and making myself better, marketing will become effortless and easy. Next slide, please. Alright, I'm not going to do the demo now, I'm going to do it when I'm finished. Next slide, please. Alright. The next platform. What is the end goal of what I'm creating? I'm going to be investing in virtual reality so I can create 360 experiences for people buying property. And I'm going to combine it with artificial intelligence. So if somebody in China wants to buy a property, they put on a VR headset, they walk around the property, and if they have any questions, there's an AI there with all of the answers that they need. The AI can book your flight, check the weather in the country, check on the local news, right in that experience there. It is predicted that this will be the biggest combination in the next 3 years for real estate. I'm not going to wait 3 years to get this done. 2017 is the one, this is what I'm going to be hoping for. Combining virtual reality and artificial intelligence to create an experience for real estate that is unlike any other. Next slide, please. Alright, travel. Final part of the presentation. At school, every single year, we brought somebody here to experience this. If anybody is to tell you about the Johns, we market St. Vincent like this is the biggest, best place ever. It is. I agree. I so agree. So there are people right now in the Caribbean dying to come to St. Vincent. I believe that is a model that everybody has to take up. If you live in St. Vincent, when you go out, you talk about St. Vincent like it's the best place. As much as you might have problems, and what might have the best resources, when you step out the side of St. Vincent, you market it. So we're going to be jumping into travel in a big way. And in December, there's a couple coming to St. Vincent, a Jamaican and a Barbadian. And we're going to be used as a pilot program for our travel. Now, I want to travel in a very different way. And I'm glad that Mr. Isaacs came, and I'm glad that my father-in-law, Brother Hahn, came. I believe I walked in Canada. I experienced Canada and the advent of foreign investment. When you invite people into your country who might not even care about you, who might have racist inclinations, you open your people up to Trump. There are people out there who they don't like that people. It's a fact that white people don't like that people. As much as we love foreign investment, you're going to open our doors to people who do not necessarily like us as a people. So, how can we go from the bottom up to do our expansion in tourism? And this is where I'm going to share Mr. Hahn's dream. He has a farm, he's a farmer. And all of his life he's walking his farm and he's thinking to himself, I really want to own a hotel. My farm has everything that it needs to own a hotel. I put up 2 cottages here, people can come, pick some oranges, go back to their cottage, breakfast. You can come, experience natural life. Now I believe, just like how Airbnb could be a thin layer between people who have homes for rent, we in St. Vincent can create a layer that allow farmers who are transitioning now because farming is going down. How can we empower people who already know this farming? How can we put bungalows on their lands and say, we will create that fabric for you to have investments coming in and you continue your farming. So when somebody comes from America and stays at your farm, they wake up in the morning, they go out and they pick an orange from the farm that you farmed yesterday and the day before. They go back to their bungalow and they sleep at night. You continue doing the thing that you know for all of your life, but also you get a revenue stream that keeps you going. I believe that is a future that we can believe in, a future that we can work towards, where we have all of this land, we have farmers who are going out of business basically. How can we help them go forward? How can we create an atmosphere for them to go forward? So for travel, that's my two goals. Bring people into St. Vincent, create virtual reality experiences so that you can be teleported. If you're in England, you can be teleported to Dartview Falls, see Dartview Falls, look around Dartview Falls, and ask Linda, show me flights to St. Vincent. It shows you flights to St. Vincent, and you can book your flight right in virtual reality. I believe that is the next stage in travel, and that is also the next stage in real estate. I want to show you guys the Associates and Caribidreams. It's absolutely beautiful. It's ready, but I've modified it to do Jamaica because Jamaica parishes are big thing in Jamaica. It's not big here, but they deal a lot with parishes. I'm doing some modifications so that we can enter into the Jamaica market. Alright, so this is my final part of the presentation. Alright, so this is the home screen. I'm going to go home screen. You see properties, you can go through them. You can add them to favorites. You can call me right from there or share it. You can go and get a map of where exactly the property is. You can go and pull up. So on my phone, you can actually go and get directions and drive to that property. You know why that is important? My cousin Jose is in the audience. There is a market for people who are looking for property, but they want to be adventurous in looking for property. I know Jose go out on a Sunday with my daughter and just look around, see what's available. If you have a mobile application in your pocket that has all of the properties with their pinpoint location, you can call to your family member and do property hunting for yourself. So you have to contact me there. Beautiful. Now, why is this important? Now, the website is for 1 to 5. So when one person enters, they look at 5 property. Now, when you have a mobile application, when it's so beautifully laid out, when I advertise one property and people pull up that mobile application, they are going to keep scrolling and scrolling. So my investment into one property equals an exponential growth that we will see across the network. So that is why this mobile platform is so important. Of course, you see your favorites. Now this is also something I like. You can go and actually see where properties are on the island. And you go and just do property hunting. You go and you check them out, you view them. When you find a house that you like, you say, okay, that is $480,000. Let me see how long I have to keep paying that mortgage. And you go and you figure out your mortgage. Now, all in 2017, this will be coming to the market. Not only this, but I'm working on now, but we're going to be launching a monthly magazine that will be for the local market and international market. So we bring a magazine to real estate. We'll be bringing a weekly TV show. So I'm going to announce this now. It's not going to be right at the start of 2017. But the collaboration between Specs, welcome KB Pixels, Specs, Rough, all of these marketing engines to create a platform in video that highlights farmers, highlights places to go in St. Vincent, highlights properties. So it serves as both a travel promotion and a real estate platform. Now, for me, I'm excited. I don't know if everybody, you might want to go soon, but there are great things happening in St. Vincent. And I'm certain as we launch off into our Genius Center, there are going to be great ideas that come out of that center that propels some other industry. And I can't wait to see what comes out of St. Live stream there, and Misha will
Good evening, everyone. We want to thank all of you for coming this afternoon. We are very excited. Maurice has done a lot of work, and as he has said, he doesn't sleep at nights. Fortunately, his wife is not here. But we are committed to doing really good work. We are committed to working with a lot of you who are here as well. And we are really excited because we know that once we get to working with you, you will see results and you will be very happy for the investment that you have made. Alright, so this afternoon I want to thank the banks that have come here. I want to thank the schools that are represented here. We are aware that Invest SVG and Chamber of Commerce are here as well. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank the media, representatives from the media who are here. Also want to thank Orville Samuel of Trans Video Production. So if you want live streaming services, we have Trans Video Production who provided live streaming for us. I want to also thank Camillus Oliver who ensured that we had audio and production facilities. There are other guests who are here. We want to thank you so much for coming. Certainly this event is a real success. We are very grateful and we are seeing some very pleased faces. We want to thank also Sheila Robinson, who has provided the food. We can guarantee that she will enjoy it in a little while. And we want to thank Brown's, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, for allowing us the use of these facilities. Alright, if I'm missing anyone, please accept my sincerest apologies. For all the persons who are here, we're very grateful that you accepted our invitation to be here this afternoon, and we hope that you will enjoy the refreshments that have been provided. Get home safely, and